I think that there might be a glimmer of hope here in the fact that I can't really remember either of these two teams playing against each other in a massive series, right? And this is the context right now. You are going toe-to-toe for a qualifying spot. I just said it before in the last series. I'll say it again. You win this matchup right now. You have 4 days off until you get to playoffs. You get to enjoy your time here at EWC. If you lose this, into the lower bracket you go in a do-or-die matchup against God only knows who. It is time for us to get underway, and we won't bother with any semantics. Gentlemen, enjoy this one.
Fairly well, Rob. When we saw this as the matchup for today, guys, I thought, quite honestly, maybe matchup of the day. Don't think it would have been too far-fetched to suggest that. FaZe versus Virtus.pro, a spot in playoffs. Should be a good one. And again, to reiterate, when we look at the veto, the expectation firmly on Virtus.pro for Fortress, FaZe then for Border, Lair, throw it all up in the air and we'll see where it lands.
Yeah. Anything that subverts that, whether it be in favor of FaZe in a 2-0 fashion or VP flip that 2-0 to them, would be certainly a shock result. We had a very brief moment in the pre-show to mention VP in their match yesterday against Edward, but FaZe on the flip side, actually an equal result against Fnatic, a 7-2. But that one played out a little bit differently in terms of how the match developed. The big storyline in that matchup was entry. FaZe struggled to find entry kills in that match, but it didn't really matter in the end because their mid to late round was so perfect and left Fnatic stunned on so many occasions that they were able to get a strong result regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can find the positive in that 100%. By the way, with FaZe starting on defense here for Fortress, I do expect Fortress maybe more than Border to actually be a little bit more equal, even though this is a very strong map for Virtus.pro. We're talking about only having lost it once to Shopify Rebellion this year. And as we know, Fortress is, well, the North American League map. So not too surprising that they did lose to the Rebellion then. But I think for FaZe, they can't allow that same entry failure as they had against Fnatic, against a quality outfit like Virtus.pro. That will come back to bite them. So need to see FaZe do a little bit better in these earlier minute and a half, first 2 minutes, those entry battles. That's where they did lack a little bit.
Reloading! Banned as well for this first half. Blitz, Deimos, Clash, Wamai. Nothing standing out as being particularly unusual. Good early bandit trick as well to note from FaZe. Soaking up a little bit of util there from Rorik, but didn't overinvest in those summers, so we'll have 2 remaining for the bulk of the round.
And by the way, Virtus.pro, the second best entry team in EML Stage 1, so again, that's going to be something FaZe are going to have to deal with. Gedia's trying to keep that reinforced wall towards briefing closed, but it seems as if it's going to get opened up on the right-hand side. Halfway through this opening round, Skies will hold the angle. Rorik out of Selma charges now. Left side is clear. Skies' patience, though, from Virtus.pro. Like this gameplay, not looking to rush after that wall gets opened up. And trust the Monty of Nako as well. And they can continue to play this more slow-paced style. It is Fortress after all. Need to be careful of Souls over towards the corridor, and Souls does strike. He pushes up, got aggressive, and found the opening kill. Watching towards the stairs, Cyber gets a freebie onto Den. FaZe well set up on the defense as Souls found one more. Pasha falls in the hallway himself. Only the Monty left of Nako. And that should be FaZe finding the opening round here on Fortress. A lovely headshot. Style points, but those points won't count to the scoreboard.
Yeah, into the meat grinder for the opening round for Virtus.pro. Such as this beast of a map, it can be so difficult for the attack to get control, and when you're playing a quality outfit like FaZe, even once you get a semblance of control, it's difficult to even convert that in towards sight. It was great work from Souls on the disrupt swing. Rest of the team played their part against the split. And VP, couple of questions now to answer into round 2.
It's going to be very defender-sided, though. So, I mean, I don't know in terms of the questions if they're going to be too damning. You're going to struggle probably more in this half than you will in the second half. Fortress sits at a 61% defensive win rate. Europe Minor League region for SAL sits at 56.
Look, don't want to detract too much from the A stream, of course, but a quick score update over on the B stream. Dark Zero CAG. During the pre-show for this particular matchup, DZ got off to a perfect start, 2-0 up. CAG have responded, spoiler alert, 4 rounds in a row, now leading at the halftime break. So there is potential for CAG to get another massive result here at the Esports World Cup.
Well, it is important that you keep your eye on that one. I mean, obviously, for those watching along at home, you can actually have both streams up. It's not impossible.
Get the split screen up.
Yeah, get the split screen.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, big game. Both of these are big games as well in the ramifications regarding, you know, if you lose, who do you play next? So for FaZe Clan and Virtus.pro, just to put it out there, the loser of this series will play the winner of Weibo Gaming or Enterprise Esports. Unfortunately, if you are the loser of Dark Zero CAG, Guz, your opponent will be either M80 or Team Liquid Alienware.
Oh. Yeah, given how the bracket has been seeded using the SI point standings, it's leading to some potentially devastating matchups in what is still relatively early in this tournament. Good point made by Rob as well. Qualified today, you get a pretty extended break. I don't know if that's for better or for worse, but...
Well, interestingly enough, while we've got some time here too, as it is Fortress, this will play out slow. Furia GK, as that will play later today, the loser of that will play Fnatic Edward Gaming. So if you imagine if Furia were to win, that means one of either GK, Fnatic, or Edward Gaming would be in playoffs. That's a big result for any of those teams. Souls. Well, that's a big kill with the DMR onto Pasha. And the second. Souls has started really nicely on Fortress. Found the opening kill in the first round. Backs it up in the second round. And FaZe, this is what we mentioned they need to do better of. Entry battles, so far, tick, tick in the opening 2 rounds.
And not allowing Virtus.pro to set up the util layer, which is so crucial on Fortress.
Drone is activated.
The most fundamental early round groundwork from the attack hasn't been too bad to start, but in that little transition window from FaZe, it's been really good in response. Now for Virtus.pro, it's about trying their best to salvage this round.
Dan does still have one more smoke grenade in pocket to try and maximize the usage of this glass. Sky is very low, but so is Souls. So trying to disrupt Cyber to go for a bit of a power play. This is that final smoke that has been laid out from Dan. But FaZe are playing this well. Good discipline, falling back, playing more towards the site. The angles, get the information from the bulletproof cameras. This is very conventional from FaZe Clan. Not giving Virtus.pro anything easy. Allowing them to take some space, but then the site and the objective, well, that's going to be far more difficult. 35 seconds remaining. Dan, patient, hoping someone from FaZe will step in his way. Eventually, he is rewarded with said patience. Catching out Cyber. And with Nako over towards Games, this now suddenly looks more doable for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, very rare error there. The overpeak from Cyber, 20 seconds on the clock, rotation from Skies, and it's Dan to try and cover this plant directly.
Handy call to the doorway. Dan, great cover. Plant should be successful. Dan again, this glass has been so impactful. KDS by himself in a 1v3 retake against the Monty. Needs to deal with him immediately. Virtus.pro steal the second round. Seemingly out of nowhere.
I think FaZe would probably be the first to say that that round wasn't good enough. A commanding position, a great start to the round. Souls found 2. They had a full read on the final push. Dan was so patient. So patient. He waited for that mistake. A rarity from FaZe. But Cyber delivered that overpeak. It allowed Virtus.pro to find route in towards site. And a little bit of a frustrating round there for FaZe now to contend with, but great fight from VP. Down below for the tertiary round 3.
Well, it needs to be said. I mean, we mentioned this was going to be defend decided with VP finding that round. That's the one that they need to just put them in good stead. But remember, this is the map they arguably need to be winning. Border should be very strong for FaZe. But I loved the patience. Yeah, man, we saw it with like 35 seconds left. Dan is still holding.
It's the only way they win that round is by being patient and waiting for the mistake. But you just wouldn't expect, of all teams, for FaZe to be the ones to put a foot wrong. That's one of, in my opinion, one of their biggest strengths is they make so few errors. But it worked out for VP. I think so far, though, the expectation of this Fortress opening map of being very slow, very much a meat grinder for the attack. Been the case in the first 2 rounds. The third might open things up a little bit more depending on what VP go for.
Well, the fourth will be opened up even more because that Monty's going to get banned 100%.
99.99%.
Actually, yeah, I probably shouldn't say 100%. So waiting and Cafe for the third round.
Reloading.
Emphasis on FaZe to keep getting these defensive rounds. It's a good start now for Virtus.pro.
Reloading.
So far, loving their due diligence on the attack, not rushing, clearing out, getting through the checklist in a timely manner. The downside has been, yes, they have been losing the entry battles. The start of these rounds have been favorable for FaZe. That means there's room for improvement if you're Virtus.pro.
Not seeing anything here.
Significant presence on the second floor at the moment from the defense.
May as well rename Fortress to just Posture City.
Target acquired.
A lot of investment here for the drop down into tower, and it's worth it. They get the kill onto Handy. Dan to follow up onto Souls. Cyber from Museum. Headshot onto Skies. FaZe needing that one. Need to try and calm things down. Settle the nerves. Couldn't get the trade. Lovely kill onto KDS. And falling apart for the second defensive round straight for FaZe Clan. Virtus.pro are starting to pick apart the Brazilians.
FaZe are so formidable on these roams with their typical ability to trade picks, even in the most chaotic of situations. Well done there from Virtus.pro and finding some good info and then being able to exploit the space provided. Should now just be a matter of conversion, but Cyber may have something to say about it.
This is again where the Monty could be, in a way, able to stop. Cyber runs through the flames. Can he find an angle here onto the Montank? No. And now also using that mirror against FaZe. Vidiking getting caught and called out. Has to eat the call. Both so low for FaZe on the defense. Rorik also taken low towards Infirmary. Loving the movement though from FaZe. They are just very much squiggling around. Hard to shut down. Vidiking needs to connect the shots. Unable to. Make it 2 straight on the attack for Virtus.pro. They take the lead on Fortress.
Dark is up and about, loving his energy behind the team at the moment. He will know that attacking rounds here on Fortress likely to come at a premium. And whilst round 2 could definitely be penciled down as a mistake from FaZe that was exploited, I think the third there was really off the back of their great playmaking, a map entry, good flood, initially over towards tower, and then critically made sure that they weren't susceptible to the trade attempts from FaZe, even as far as to the latest point of the round where Cyber was still a menace. And even when they made the site clear itself difficult by positionally being near perfect, Virtus.pro were just able to relax, be cautious, and get the round confirmed.
Deploying jammer.
Well, I was right, 100% on the Monty ban. The Warden will also follow. With those 2 attacking rounds now for Virtus.pro, that's job done in this half on a map like Fortress, which can lean upwards of up to 60% defensive win rate, pending the region. Realistically, for these next 3 rounds, they get to kind of just play for free. See how things develop. FaZe, the pressure's now on them. But, as we kind of said pre-match, we probably expect this series to go 3 maps. VP take Fortress, FaZe take Border, but it's never that simple. But to take the chances while they're there. Who knows? Virtus.pro might come out on Border and just smash you. So, every map is its own, but statistically, that's the storyline of the series. And so far now with Virtus.pro having these 2 attacking rounds, it does make a lot more sense. I think ever since Fortress has come into the forecast, I think it's the map that's most likely to see 5-1 half splits in favor of defense. And that cannot happen here now for FaZe. It could potentially for VP, but that would be, well, that would be very strange.
Yeah, it would be. It's only positive signs at the moment for the email outfit. And this lineup screaming clearance, spearheaded by the Blackbeard.
The EML team with the Brazilian APAC coach. Yeah, the other thing as well for Virtus.pro so far, every single round, you know, within the first minute, they don't rush, they just set themselves up. They clearly look like a team that's got a good game plan, good understanding of how this map works, where they need to be positionally. And FaZe have been very passive on the defense, but Fortress kind of leans itself into being passive. Cyber creeping up. Guard break on the Blackbeard. Nako, he's got to be so careful. Needs a little bit of help. Cyber unable to connect the shots though, and gets punished. Back-to-back opening kills for VP.
Yeah, that's a shame for Cyber. Did so much right, but just couldn't land the clean headshot. Did waste a little bit of time. 60 seconds on the clock here for Virtus.pro. Still largely posturing on the first floor. Tower stairs now for Nako. Could take a little bit of space. Not directly contested by FaZe, but the smokes from Viking last deployed will just stall out some time. Double Nitro as well, also available.
There's one.
Usher on the floor.
Oh, he's getting completely beat out, and then impact trick from below. Wasn't even the full 3, only 2 needed from Skies. Wonderful set play again from Virtus.pro, and Viking caught towards side. Souls falls too, and KDS in a 1 versus 4. This is looking devastating from Virtus.pro. Sensational attacking play on a difficult map to attack into. They are putting the foot on the throat of FaZe early. This is their map.
Well, so far, this series playing out as expected with VP looking strong on their map selection, but you add in the caveat of it being Attack Fortress, I think that only makes it more impressive.
Tactical timeout, FaZe clan. Seen enough early on and know how desperately needed these next 2 rounds are. And these are the worst kind of tactical timeouts as a player, because you know full well as you're getting a speaking to, yeah, we're just not up for it right now. What's going wrong? Are the fundamentals not working? Are they just much better than us? What's going wrong?
Yeah, a bit of a crisis meeting for FaZe here. Being outmatched by VP thus far. Dan leading the charge with 6 picks. Nako's been really, really strong on his shield play, actually second fragging despite 3 rounds of Monty and then forced to transition across to the Blackbeard. And speaking of, big moment there. Cyber, you could argue, probably should have hit the headshot. It's one of those really awkward 1v1 duels, but...
Not easy.
No.
But he was in a position to get that kill.
And Nako made it basically as challenging as possible for him to hit that shot.
It started 5-1 as well. He and Dan, 11 combined. Funnily enough, Pasha, no kills yet. He was top-rated player in EML for stage 1. 114 EPS. 1.36 KD.
10 seconds left before insertion. 5 seconds left before insertion.
We're definitely not going to call this one too early, guys. We've learned over the years to never do that.
Locate a bomb and defuse
But
it.
Virtus.pro, in this position right now, sit very comfortable. It's on FaZe to do something exceptional from here now. Firstly, it needs to start with probably 2 defensive round wins. Then, managing their own attack.
I'd be stripping it back even further and just, let's get the entry kill this round.
Yeah.
Because in the last couple of occasions, VP have found that, but then prevented a lot of the trade game that is anticipated from FaZe, and then have done a really good job in managing time, being patient, and then ensuring that the final pieces of the puzzle can be aligned late round. It's been a pleasure to watch so far. And now we wait to see if FaZe, after that tactical timeout, have been able to problem solve their way back into the match. Vidiking flicking cameras currently, and in some ways no info's info. I think off the back of that, we'll largely be expecting the posture old tower side as guys are inside with said shock drone will help facilitate some coverage.
I do wonder for FaZe if this map just doesn't really play into some of their strengths. Very rarely do you see them this passive on the defense. They like to be a little tricky, move around the map, force you to have to kind of guess their positioning. But on a map like Fortress, where it's so site-orientated, it's far easier for Virtus.pro to kind of understand where and how FaZe are playing. Funnily enough, the map like Border flips that completely. Handy wins the battle over towards top main. Headshot onto Rorik. Said, start with the opening kill. There it is.
Yeah, nice proactive defense there from Handy, fighting on the exterior of the building. 60 seconds now for Virtus.pro. And it's a big stack over towards Old Tower. FaZe will be able to establish the cross into this position.
Vidiking not panicked by the frag grenade, just a small little step to the left and then back to the right. He's also got Souls for company here inside of games. Oh, I don't quite know about that one. Quite literally sent it and Pasha gets a free kill. Wanted to charge at Nako, but he had the cover of the DMR from the Dockerby. Once again, Virtus.pro in a good position. 1-for-1 trade, but they've got site control. Nako just needs to find a comfortable plant position. They do lose Skies. FaZe fighting back. Big kill from KDS and Cypher 2 shuts down Pasha. Nako at that point needed to put the shield away, and KDS says this round's done. A second acquired for FaZe. Final round of the half coming up.
Yeah, really nice start there from Handy, taking the dual DMR in hand early, wins that out, gives him his team the advantage. FaZe then with a good read on the tower side stack. They were a little susceptible to the Blackbeard and the Glaz combination, which ultimately upset the hold initially, but then the follow-up was great, and the lurk down below also proving to be a success. So a clean conversion from FaZe, but it's important to be clear here that on a map such as Fortress, they are still trailing, and even a 3-3 half in most cases is noted as a trailing score. So next one still important here for FaZe, over to the tertiary.
Do you want an update on the Dark Zero CAG game happening on the B stream at the moment, guys?
No, okay.
No spoiler, 3, 2, 1. Dark Zero are on match and series point, leading now 6-4, having won the last 4 rounds straight.
5 seconds to go.
What is shaping up to be a very defender-sided cafe, and they are on defense. Dark Zero now looking very likely to get past the APAC team, which would put CAG by Varel in a very tricky position, playing then the winner of M80 or Team Liquid. Of course, that's still live on the B stream. And to follow on the B stream later after that will be Furia versus GK Esports. Final round of the half here for FaZe versus Virtus.pro. Virtus.pro have already done everything needed in this half. 3 attacking rounds is more than plenty. One more would put them in a very solidified position. Opening kills have been important. Only one round where it has not converted into a round win. That was back in round 2, so a long way to go.
BP going for a very, very different lineup this time for the Waiting Cafe attack. Almost a complete switch. In fact, a total plan B for them. Dropping notably the Snake, for instance. They'll facilitate more util clearance. The Flores. Capital for a bit of spacing. And of course the Glaz will be a looming threat, especially with no ward and counter on the board here for FaZe. Opening kill goes the way of Pasha, as Virtus.pro eagerly try and etch their way towards a lead at the halftime break. FaZe around now, where FaZe will look to get proactive, get on the front foot, and try and find a pick back. But VP are cautious and are expecting that, as they have over the course of the last few rounds.
Reload.
Well, Handy's aggressive with wanting to make sure he can keep an eye on this window vault in. Heading into the final minute of the half. Big corridor stack from VP, and Cyber walks straight into it. Easy kill onto Cyber. He's done that a couple of times in this half where he just goes searching. In fact, a lot of FaZe members at times will go searching and then caught by VP, who have got a lot of discipline. Pasha gets rid of Vidaking. A donut and a half from him. Souls, an all-important kill onto Skies. Whenever Handy's still alive, a round is alive for FaZe. That's Kit down. And got some help from Souls, but a quick clear from Nako. Grabs the case and goes for the plan inside of waiting. Needed to win that Souls, and Pasha is just better. 4 attacking rounds from Virtus.pro on Fortress. This is their domain. This is their map pick. Half-time, timeout coming. 2 minutes for FaZe to talk things over and see what they can do on their attack, because it's not looking good.
No, it's not. But again, important to remember and contextualize that it is the selection of VP, a very strong map for them this year. Second in the series will be FaZe's selection of Border, again, in a similar vein to this opening map. It's very strong for FaZe. So we came into this series expecting 3 maps, and I don't think that's changed a ton.
A little bit. I was probably not expecting Virtus.pro to get 4 attacking rounds.
Exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
3-3 or 2-4, something like that, and then dominate on the defense. So, I mean, for me,
That's the small curveball at the moment.
definitely got to give flowers to Virtus.pro for how they played that half. Attacking into Fortress is not easy. Ended up splitting the opening kills 3-3. Interestingly, only got the plant down once. That was back in the second round. Dan with a 3K, Sky with a 3K, Pasha with a 3K, showing they're not a one-man, two-man kind of team. It's a full stack. Everyone's going to have their say. I think they'd be very happy with the way that they played in that half. It's not just a case of, oh, it's our map. Just very good fundamentals, really good discipline, never rushed. You look at the opening kill timings, there was only a single pick that was above the 1.5 minute mark. 90% of the action was in the final 90 seconds. And when you're an attacking team and you're playing with the clock kind of a little bit more against you, that adds a little bit more pressure, and they managed that really well in the half.
Scheduled timeout will come to an end.
In some ways, Fortress as a map plays a little bit more like how Siege in general was played 3-4 years ago. You think back to like 20-second meta sort of era when the clock itself was much lower on time, usually into the final minute, and there were still a lot of 5v5s. So the bands Kaid, Monty Bandit, and Deimos.
Just an interesting little side note. I had a look across at the average entry time in the map pools of EML and SAL respectively. Fortress is number 2 in terms of the actual fastest average entry at 1:26. A couple of chalets all the way at
That's
1:04. On the opposing side in SAL, Fortress sits at 6th with 1:15. So pacing a little different.
Yeah, we're going to get a rehost here. There has been an issue after the scheduled timeout a couple of times so far here at EWC where it just doesn't load in.
Yeah, some chatter in the old chat, maybe in regards to a skin selection or non-skin selection on a particular weapon. So
I don't even think that's going to be relevant.
no, it
They're
has
not loading in anyway.
No, that's what's causing the issue.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's happened before.
Shouldn't take too long. Well, looking across the border briefly, well, we've got a little bit of an extended halftime break. Again, a 6-1 record for FaZe Clan. That's over the last 6 months. The only loss being against Team Falcons, which was 6 months ago. 5-7 loss at the 6 Invitational. They ended up winning that series 2-1. Interestingly enough, actually, in that series, guys, against Falcons, where they lost to the border, Lair was the final map. FaZe won at 7-0. Lair, of course, will be the final map in this series as well. Virtus.pro have not won on border at all. Played it once against G2, lost at 3-7, and permaban ever since. And the update on the B stream, as we are getting close to finishing the rehost, Dark Zero have qualified for playoffs, knocking CAG by Varel into the lower bracket, and it's a meat grinder of a lower bracket for them. Team Liquid Alienware, or M80, awaits for them.
Yeah, a bit of a wake-up call, I guess, for CAG after riding the coattails of their impressive victory.
Still a really good
over Shopify
series against Dark Zero. We got the benefit of watching some of it.
Yeah, exactly. Looked competitive. We were watching it back in the green room, playing some good Siege, taking on the SLC champs. It's never going to be an easy game, and one that was never over until it's over.
Dark Zero's in really good form right now.
Yeah, they do look scary.
But they are the second team to have now qualified, and good signs for the North American region, with both Dark Zero and Wildcard getting through from Group A. Question will be, will M80 join them? And if so, got to get through Team Liquid and then CAG.
All 10 players are back into the lobby. And so once the settings are input and ready to go, we'll jump back into the action. So bear with us for a moment or two. This one, though, shaping up to be an interesting series. Map 1, not particularly competitive thus far. VP looking strong on attack, sitting on a 4-2 lead at the moment, and a nice buffer heading onto Fortress defense, where, if anything, they should be in a position to extend that advantage. FaZe haven't played particularly poorly. You could probably make a case in 1 or 2 rounds there were some big mistakes made, but honestly, outside of that, it's been VP dictating a lot of the tempo of the rounds. Their willingness to be patient has been rewarded, and the mistake minimization on those attacks was also really, really nice. Not sure we expect FaZe to be able to fight back that comprehensively on attack. It's such a skilled and experienced roster. It does not mean you can take them lightly by any means. Fist bumps deployed, and back into the server we go.
And back in 4-2 half. Feels like it's turning into a routine thing at the halftime break. It's almost like a 5-minute break. 2 minutes, 2 minutes to talk, and then 3 minutes to sit around. Man Bathroom will be the opening site choice for Virtus.pro on the defense. To reiterate the bans, Kanye Bandit, Monty Damos. Let's get underway. Virtus.pro looked very, very good on their attack. FaZe will need to replicate that to see if we've got ourselves a map. Otherwise, the expectation from here should be that Virtus.pro will be very, very dominant on the defense. Let's see if FaZe can subvert those expectations.
Reloading. Cover me.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this second half. I think I'm tempering my expectations very much for a FaZe comeback, but I also wouldn't put it past them. First couple of rounds here are going to be telling on attack what kind of mindset FaZe are in and what their game plan is, and will that be compatible against the defense of VP?
Well, there's a saying, guys, just like this in any sport, you never count out the back-to-back champs. Till proven otherwise.
Well, champions at the 6th Invitational, of course, still seeking success at the Esports World Cup.
Well, if they keep winning hammers, does it really matter? It is interesting, though, across the, what is it, been a very dynastic couple of years. The main things that have been missing, you know, majors, EWC. Now, this will be interesting to see if Virtus.pro on the defense will opt to get a little bit more aggressive or testing tower stairs, but he gets pinged and forced back. He'll look to delay them with the gas babes. Cyber will not be able to make his way up there quickly. Pasha, nice cell shot out. Well, there's a couple of eyes on that one. Handy found the opening kill on the Rorik. Good start for FaZe to find that first pick. Cyber now making his way up tower stairs.
Yeah,
you could have asked for a better start here with your FaZe clan on the attack of Fortress. This is good.
Yeah, Rorik got squeezed. Difficult to fault him in that particular position, but credit to FaZe in being able to capitalize and cut off the smoke.
Keeper deployed.
Guys now also forced back, so FaZe layering nice pressure courtesy of Cyber on the blitz.
You can already somewhat see the difference here. Virtus probably look a tiny bit more aggressive on the defense in this opening round. Cyber peppered away. Nako with the DMR to finish him off. So they lose the blitz. 2 ROUs available for Souls. Running on by Skies and Nako watching the doorway. Souls thinking he could slip on in. Skies taking down a 1 HP towards Museum. Now into bathroom he goes. VP will play site. Triple stack inside of bathroom. Pasha will be the flanker. And Nako, though, he's getting it all done. 3 kills for him in the round. Shuts down the Starman in Handy. KDS bites back. Nako low on health and still decent amount of time remaining for FaZe. 30 seconds is plenty on Fortress.
Dan has double Zodo and Nitro, so there's good denial potential here for the defense.
Handy has to find the safe plant position, then also for Vidiking to watch and cross and cover, but he's at 0 and 7. Plant was successful, but couldn't do anything else as Virtus.pro will make it 5-2.
Indeed, they will. VP looking formidable on Fortress. I love the active defense. Didn't panic when they lost control of tower when the smoke fell. The blitz was still standing, and instead of allowing FaZe to take that space for free and continue to layer pressure, they were able to disrupt. They found that delayed trade, dropped the shield, and it's a good proactive shooting, especially on-site from Nako. Was more than enough to catch FaZe off guard. There was that key pick onto Cyber. And Nako deep with that DMR got full use. And the vibe's very good in the VP camp currently.
And on the flip side for FaZe, they just have the look of a team with a few long faces right now. Nothing's really working for them. Vidiking 0 kills.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Wall reinforced.
Ten seconds remaining.
It's a long way back from here now when you're facing a 3-round deficit.
5
VP's
seconds
on
to go.
defense. This tournament's too big to just say GG, go next. You've got to fight to the very end.
Impressive tag. Maybe I should borrow some.
That previous round, also the second round here on Fortress, where the opening kill was not converted.
Both FaZe.
Both FaZe. The previous was second floor. That was funnily enough where Souls got the double with the DMR, and then they threw the round late. That last round, far less of a throw in comparison, but the side of FaZe that we don't often see, where advantages are not being converted.
Let's cause some chaos.
Through Hamam for Cyber on the solid stake.
Location. Kawan deployed. Going for a drive.
First round of this second half, Virtus.pro looked very eager on the defense, wanted to push out, take some fights. Now they're a 5-2 up. You got Nako on the clash. Dorms games, you very much can kind of just sit back, hold around the area. Don't need to push out as much. They have extended a little bit though. Skies will make his way back now. Pasha still stays over towards that courtyard corridor position, stretching the map. With entry from Cyber onto Skies.
Swapping mags.
Virtus.pro were close to getting the remonstration and found. Cyber, I don't think, was aware of Pasha's position. So close to him. Cyber then trying to pull out the radar. The Virtus.pro do net the trade.
And we'll see how much that now starves info gathering for the remainder of the round with Cyber in the grave. Big focus now on drone work. No Grimbees remain. Handful of payloads for Handy to maybe try and disrupt that way. But it looks a little bit, pardon the pun, grim for FaZe at this point of the round. Despite an equalized man count. Oh, but Pasha!
Well, here we go. This could open it up. They've got the ability to flood into the site now. Headshot from Souls, 40 seconds, decent amount of time. Now you've got the numbers. Agapello call onto Dan will be answered. Nako could not be called. He's already eaten one earlier. Dan towards games. Good kill onto the Grim. Evens up that man count. Towards the doorway. Rorik with a shotgun. Can't win the battle against Souls with a shotty up close. And then, but Nako and Dan get one each. And now Souls by himself. Virtus.pro flip it again. Winning all of these gunfights to look for a 6-2 lead. Souls may have kit, but there's only 7 seconds remaining. Still needs to walk into the site. Virtus.pro, hold, discipline. It's perfect. No chance for Souls. He's dead in 3, 2. Gets off the kit anyway, and this map is looking done. Dominance from Virtus.pro, 4 map points.
And even in a round where the late round, FaZe actually got themselves into an advantageous position by denying the flank attempt from Pasha. The onside anchor work from the likes of Dan, throw in the disruption of the Clash Shield. It made for a formidable combination that FaZe simply couldn't break down. They were starved of info really late in the round. Also that opportunity there where they won the duel against Shotgun and just aren't able to quite connect enough dots in that round. 4 opportunities for VP to go 1-0 up in regulation.
I mean, VP just looked more comfortable around the map, as if their knowledge of positioning, whereabouts as to the way that FaZe are going to be pushing in, means that they've been a little bit more aggressive on the defense than FaZe were. FaZe were so passive, they looked a little bit scared and timid. Not the case for VP. It's been really, really dominant. I expected more from FaZe in the first half. I didn't really have big expectations for this second half. But again, it's also another round in which they did find that early kill onto Skies. Virtus.pro, we said coming into this match, one of the metrics we wanted to see them improve on compared to their Fnatic result were those entry battles. And while they've done that, guys, they haven't then also been able to...
It's gone the complete opposite.
Yes. This is actually quite similar to the FaZe Fnatic game, except FaZe are cosplaying as Fnatic.
And it could well end up being a 7-2.
7-2 as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a good performance from Virtus.pro to kick off this best of 3. Now it's a matter of converting this position.
It's the best feeling too when you have these lopsided map picks. Now going into border, yes, FaZe will be dominant, but VP have got tails up, momentum. So, and they know then Lair is kind of waiting as a backup. Now, second map could get very, very interesting.
Yeah, VP will have nothing to lose. On a map like border, sometimes you can produce unexpected results.
I wonder if we've had a donut so far at the Esports World Cup. Peter King's not too far away. 0-8.
Very uncharacteristic.
Very. This new look Virtus.pro are here to establish what this organization has done many, many times over the years, and that is to succeed at the international events. Cyber has done quite well in the 2 rounds of this half on the Solid Snake to facilitate entry positions, and Handy does find yet another opening kill. But sorry, my trust in you, FaZe, well, it's been lost a little bit. To follow up on this, they did get some damage into Dan. Damage may not be enough, though. He stays alive towards Cafeteria.
Well, it's full horizontal here from FaZe, completely ignoring Vert above currently. There's a bit of a lurk on that second floor from Handy, but outside of that, a big focus courtyard side at the moment from the attack. Scouting to take place up above. Nako up close, gets support from Skies. A 3 versus 3 now.
Keep up area on duty.
Well, this is where Vidiking might just have to find a kill. Well, it's not just up to him with Handy and Cyber ever present. Want this to be a 3 versus 3. Vidiking's going to have to get active towards Old Tower. Handy searching, if not mine. Just keeping him at bay. Is he aware? Up close. No, he was not. Sidepark did get rid of Nako. Flash out from Vidiking. That was his final one. There is a frag grenade available from Cyber. Won't matter. Pasha finds the kill. Vidiking, you must find one. He cannot. It's a donut for Vidiking. And it's a 7-2 beatdown from Virtus.pro on Fortress. A warning for the remainder of the Esports World Cup. Do not take these guys to this map. Towards rounds 2-3. So the first 2-3 rounds, then you get into the bans in the first chat with the coach. So it's the first 3 rounds that are going to set the tone.
Whilst we go in as having FaZe be complete favourites on this map, the unknown that is Virtus.pro at the moment, after seeing what they've done in the last 6 months, there is that element of optimism that you have for this roster, and especially given the fact that we have not seen them play on this map for over 3 months. This now all culminates in what could be a deciding map in their entire EWC campaign. Virtus.pro are 1 map away from booking the finals.
Well, what a big map it promises to be, guys. We came into the series basically saying Fortress goes the way of VP, and FaZe, well, they should take border. But now, with such a dominant Fortress, it's these first few rounds are going to see which script we will follow. And I tell you what, if Virtus.pro win this map, doesn't matter if it's an 8-7 or a 7-0, just winning the map and beating FaZe 2-0 and getting into playoffs, oh boy, they become a top threat to even take out potentially the entire tournament.
Yeah, it would be a bit of a shockwave, that's for sure. But it certainly feels possible. But I think our expectations still very much need to be grounded. FaZe are the poster boy for coming back from this kind of position and going onto such a strong and dominant map. They're still expected to win. Let's jump in then. Bans are Azami, Mirror, Monty, Glass, and nothing too notable in that regard. Playing out in a rather expected fashion.
5 seconds remaining.
It's all going to come down to the game plan, the approach, the tempo, and the aggression from these two forces, and when they butt heads, what that will produce.
And a reminder, the loser of this series will play either Weibo or Enterprise. I think on paper, it's fair to say, and it hurts me to say, many would think, yeah, it doesn't matter who loses this, they'll probably be dead set favorites against either of those two. But either of those two, I think, are also more than capable of an upset. So you'd rather just win now. Sleep a little bit more soundly tonight. So as I said, I think the first 3 rounds should very much be both teams vying for control. Get a really good feel. Armory Archives for Virtus.pro, strongest defensive site, and it gives them the ability to push over towards break, try and play the windows towards security, play the entire top level floor of this map. Vidiking, no kills on Fortress. 0-9, 25 EPS. He would love an early kill on the Deimos.
Yeah, absolutely. Wants to hit that kill feed early and have impact in the match. It's the Wamai up next to be targeted. Dan, phenomenal back on Fortress. Player that FaZe will be looking to target and tame here on border. And he takes a fight elsewhere on the exterior of the map. Virtus.pro doing a good job at denying map control, but Dan,
Cyber
just took 1 step too far forward and Cyber was ready.
Oh, there's a doorway battle. Nako unable to fully connect with the shotgun. He's got a pinch developing towards his position of office. Some more gas paper remaining. FaZe just starting to take some good ground. East stairs control established. Lurking still outside security on the west side balcony is Souls. Rorik is still inside of security. Really only Pasha that's actually inside at the moment. And Nako unable to land that shotgun. KDS staying alive. And they lose another one in Skies. Pasha to fall too. FaZe Clan melting down this defense of Virtus.pro. This may even be flawless. VP wanting to meet them head on, but FaZe have just got them outnumbered. King went from 0 kills on the opening map to 3 in the first round of map 2.
If that doesn't embody the kind of storyline that we were trying to drill home going into the second map,
Never
nothing
write
will.
these guys off, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. Yeah, really clean work across the board. Great pressure layered. Good presence of mind early when VP were very eagerly contending the map exterior just to be ready for everything and anything. And that read from them was initially really, really good.
A couple of missed opportunities for VP.
Yeah.
Certainly for Nako, definitely. And then also the first death as well. Guys, Cyber, Dan, just a strange angle, and Cyber hits a really good shot. So I think early on in that round, it wasn't necessarily bad from Virtus.pro. See what they were trying to do. They wanted to establish break position, security, lock that down, good office hold, kind of somewhat didn't want to battle towards Eastern, did afford that over to FaZe, and then but just you lose one, you don't quite hit your shot with the shotgun, and then from there, FaZe just snowball. And it's kind of what you said before in terms of the entry battle on border. That snowball effect is very, very strong. Once you start losing defenders on this map, where you want to stretch out a little bit more, you're not quite just compact on the site, opens up the gaps, open up the pathways for the attack. Saw that evidently in the opening round. Vent, Workshop, the follow-up here in the second round. Will play largely similar. Top 4 hold focus, and certainly towards security. But if you're VP, you can't go into your shells in the second round. You've got to keep fighting here. At the windows, at the doorways. Make it difficult for FaZe to get into the building. Because once you start to fall back against FaZe and you afford them a lot of space, I think it's quite self-explanatory as to what will then happen next.
Death bar tracker out.
Hostile tagged.
No mute counter this time around for VP against the Deimos. And Cyber's already found incredible space here waiting, mind you.
East stairs. Oh my goodness.
You can't be half peeking into that.
Did it in the opening round, Cyber. And he's done it again here in the second. These feel like warning shots from FaZe. They are not a wounded dog after just one nap. If anything, they look invigorated. They look comfortable. VP still are trying to fight. It's not as if they're, you know, scurrying back to the site. They do want to swing. They do want to take these fights, but FaZe want it more. Handy straight through break. Easy kill onto Rorik. His attention was more so focused outside security. And again, on this map, you start to lose numbers and those entry positions become far easier. This may be back-to-back flawless to start on border. Only 10 remains. Oh, indeed it is. 10 straight kills to 0. Not a great start for Virtus.pro.
I think FaZe are ready for lair, Jake. I do wonder if there's part of them that are like, let's beat them harder on map 2 than they beat us on 1, right?
I mean, this is the thing sometimes. We say pre-match, well, Fortress goes the way of VP, Border goes the way of FaZe, let's just go to lair. Doesn't always work out that way, so you do still have to play it out. Timeout called from Dark for Virtus.pro. He's seen enough. He knows after these 2 rounds, you've lost Armory Archives, and you lost it convincingly, flawlessly. Vent Workshop, yeah, sometimes that can obviously go to the attack. Border's very good for attacking teams, but you lost it flawlessly. You don't often see back-to-back flawless to start a map. Clearly, something's going wrong, but what is it? In theory, they are objectively playing the way I expected them to play, at the doorways, trying to night entry positions, take fight, taking space around the map. FaZe is just hitting really good entry shots, most notably Cyber, back-to-back crucial opening kills.
Yeah. And we're seeing the snowball effect of those entries where concerningly back on Fortress, converting entry proved to be a challenge, as is expected here on Border. We're seeing a far different outlook, where they're finding that opening pick immediately, then taking control, and as VP look to fight back, they get caught out. Back to back, you're right.
So whenever you go back to back, and certainly out of a tactical timeout as well, you're kind of looking, well, what's the difference going to be? So for Virtus.pro, it is quite a significant change. Now they'll bring the Mozzie again, but say goodbye to the Solus, the Smoke, the Fenrir, and the Sentry. Castle comes in, so does the Wamai, so does the Tuber and the Mute, and immediately it screams to me, let's play a little bit more defensive in our approach.
They're trying to force more utility clearance and offer a little more safe haven in terms of positionally where they can play, where maybe they don't necessarily have to take initially a lot of gunfights. They can instead lean back on the util and peel a little bit more on the defense.
But in some ways, it also concedes that initial
that's
2-3
I can't help but
battle.
take the feeling that it's a little bit of a negative approach, but
if it works, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I think that's the key takeaway is it's probably appropriate given just how dominant the start has been from FaZe. It shouldn't be looked at as waving the white flag.
No, it's definitely not. We're only 2 rounds played. But it is waving the white flag in the conventional sense of, yeah, maybe we're not going to be as aggressive, but we want to force you to beat us in a different way.
Yeah. And if this doesn't work...
well, let.
Oh, I think let. Yeah.
They do also bring, by the way, Quad Nitrocell, as Mint ever so humbly labeled it. C4 Maxi.
C4 Maxi.
It also meant for FaZe, you understand they've called a timeout, they've changed things up a little bit, same site. They're going to be slightly cautious with their approach. I say that. Nako straight through Office and towards Fountain. They're showing still a little bit of presence here. They're basically saying to FaZe, we will be more defensive, but we're just going to do it somewhere else.
Nitrocell trick down the hallway there from Skies, but doesn't quite net the result of catching FaZe off guard in the corridor. Courtesy of the Habana being able to chip away at a lot of this utility and establish a nice foothold over towards top east stairs in the surrounding area.
Here they come again, though. I mean, Simon just wants to push down this hallway, but electing not to.
As my friend would say,
Time to make a new door. See you on the other side.
Heading into the final 60 seconds of the round. If you're Virtus.pro, you're probably happy with the way things have developed. Until then, again, Cyber, 3 straight opening kills. That's roaring towards security. So now this entire south side of the map is completely vacant for Virtus.pro. FaZe have many different angles in which they can converge towards this top floor. Again, reminder, it is Vent Workshop, but you do want to clear Armory Archives because of the Vert.
They need to hit that Nitro.
I mean, Solus is watching the drop because you've got that extra body of Fortitude. Dan towards Workshop. Scurries away, knowing that he's getting hunted down, and indeed he was. Cyber was on the march.
3 flawless in a row.
It could very well be back to back to back flawless rounds from FaZe. What are we witnessing? 3 straight flawless rounds. Well, they are the back-to-back SI champions after all. We shouldn't be that dumbfounded.
Look, I can't fault VP. They went in to that round
Just
with a different plan, and
send
it
us
just
to
didn't
Lair.
work.
Get it over with. Let's go to Lair.
Wow, 3 in a row.
Siege is a funny old game because Virtus.pro looked absolutely amazing on Fortress, as expected.
Again,
FaZe are looking even better here on Border.
it highlights
as expected.
It highlights just how distinct and different
to locate and
every map is in Rainbow Six. FaZe looking phenomenal here on map 3. Additional bans to be the Wamai and the Deimos. Deimos has proven to be pretty deadly in the hands of FaZe and gaining good information and helping in layering a lot of pressure onto the defensive VP.
I always like to look at the contextualized statistics. when you see FaZe dominate like this, 3 flawless attacking rounds, and you think, well, how attack-decided really is it? So in the South America League for Stage 1, Armory Archives, 53% attacker win rate. Bathroom Towers, which we haven't seen yet, by the way, is 59% attacker win rate. And then, interestingly, Vent Workshop sits at 50-50 in SAL. And as we just saw, FaZe have gone back-to-back on that site. Over in EML for Border, 52% attacker win rate on top floor. Vent Workshop actually sits at defensive win rate of 60%. And Bathroom Towers also incredibly attacker-sided, hence why Virtus.pro have not sent us to Bathroom Towers just yet, and why we now return back to Armory Archives. They are struggling. Essentially, it's attacker-sided, but maybe not 3 straight flawless rounds attacker-sided.
Yeah, FaZe are flexing their muscles here. Map 2 of best of 3. Lair awaits, and it feels like it is closer and closer, moment by moment.
I wonder what the record is for consecutive flawless rounds. Jesse? Do we have him on speed dial?
I tried to see if our tracker...
Oh, he's on the B stream at the moment.
I tried to see if our tracker noted the number of flawless rounds on a map or for a team, and haven't been able to find that, so we've also got to hit up there and get that sorted out. Shout out to Vidiking as well on screen as he dumps util 5 kills after failing to have any impact, quite literally back on map 1, didn't achieve anything.
Very easy to hang your head. You go 0-9 on the first map, and then just bounces back. Make that a 6th. Whew. Speak of the man. Oh, hang on. Cyber and ADS are both down. Sky's able to retreat back through Passport. Now, they haven't died, so
Could still be
still on for 4 straight flawless. It is still a possibility.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Cyber's back up. KDS should also be revivable. And if so, would give FaZe the 5 versus 4 advantage heading into the final minute. Mako offers a point of difference towards Bathroom. Everyone else is essentially towards side. All those guys, bot metal. There's the first kill of this map for Virtus.pro. There's the second kill. Finally making a stand on Armory Archives. And with KDS, Cyber both so low, this still proves to be quite tricky for FaZe, but afforded a freebie as Nako tried to make his way back up metal. Shut down by Vidiking. Now 7-0 from 0-9. Total reversal. Cyber stays alive by the slim margin. Dan then caught in the corner, and FaZe are rolling here at EWC. 4 straight.
Well, it's almost a little bit underwhelming because it wasn't flawless, but what made that round so exciting was the fight back from FaZe. When it started to look a little bit dire, they were still able to find win cons, able to isolate the remaining pieces of that defensive puzzle. And as you said, it's 4 rounds in a row for FaZe.
Well, better from Virtus.pro for sure. But credit to FaZe, just having no fear. Pushing towards a difficult bomb site. Low health members, but Vidiking leads from the front. That's one way to make amends after the opening map. He's now, and this is where for the series, Vidiking is now 7-9. Everything looks a little bit better on the series statistics. He's gone from 25 EPS to 76. Much better.
He's really not trailing the rest of his team by...
It's mainly the cost. That's going to be the hardest thing to actually increase.
Yeah.
He's gone from 0% to 31% in the series.
Well, even that, though, is on par with Skies and Rorik on the side of Virtus.pro, courtesy of this strong start from FaZe on the second map.
Warwick is 2-11 now. Well, is this going to be 7-0 territory? Because it was 7-2 on the first map. I do feel as if broken clock for me, for Jake. I did say Fortress VP, Border, FaZe, and Lair throw it up in the air and see where it lands. And, well, that is coming to fruition. Well and truly.
Reloading! Secure sensor on the lookout.
4 straight opening kills for FaZe. 4 straight rounds for FaZe. 3 straight flawless rounds in the first 3. This is probably the most dominant 4 rounds I've seen from a team at this event so far. Make it another opening kill. Cyber again. That's his 4th opening kill of this half. But shut down by Pasha. That will be his first death of this half. VP get the response.
Ready to push them out.
But the Solid Snake has already got rid of the Soulless.
Yeah, it was a good trade. It did prevent further damage in towards the direct site, which is Customs. One of the lesser favored objectives here for the defense on border, but can certainly be tricky to break down for the attack, especially with vertical control, as you can see on display here from VP. Nitro Cell deployed.
Wow,
King just eats it.
That's insane that he stays alive. It hit him pretty much in the back.
Oh,
And this
no!
Warwick does get the kill onto King. Finishes off the low health Blackbeard. I have a feeling FaZe, though, will look to try and finish the job on Warwick. It's his first kill of the map. ADS has the long angle, tapping away. They know that he's trapped towards security. Dan tried to swing to help out his friend, stuck. His friend, though, was dead to rights and maybe needed to be left to his own devices. 2 in the round from Handy as Souls gets rid of Pasha. 5-0 is coming up. Put it in the books. Start warming up there.
Yeah, weird. That is just brutal from FaZe. Little bit of luck with the way of Rorik up above when he was able to slay the Blackbeard. But then the remaining members of FaZe springing into action. Good pressure top east, bit of pressure outside break, and the exterior balcony as well was able to combine. Right here, King should have netted that kill. And you could argue that VP probably should have gone on to net the round, but they were just playing off each other so perfectly there at the end. Hive mind mentality from FaZe, and it's a 5-0 lead.
Just 2 good teams on their respective maps. Again, it's funny when it comes to FaZe on this map. I think they're pretty much glued on to, hey, we're pretty good at border, and we'll bring it out when needed, and we'll ban it away during regular SAL. We don't really need to play it then and there. Make it look like a map we don't really want to play, but boy, they're so good on it. Again, for those just tuning in, FaZe Clan a 6-1 record on this map over the last 6 months. One and only loss was 5-7 versus Falcons at 6 Invitational.
Moving to defuse a bomb.
They had that 10-8 game on border as well against Secret in the grand final. Final round of the half. VP, they just want to hear that bell. Get back to the corner and look for a reset.
Repulsion device planted.
The biggest thing for Virtus.pro is now going to be heading into Lair. Can't allow this to affect their mentality going into that 3rd map. They need to reset.
Haven't let it deter them here on map.
Exactly.
Solid Snake for King this round. It's been a key part of FaZe's ability to get map control early.
Yeah, King should be aware this is going to be watched from below. You can see it, of course. He's aware of it. Handy completes a flawless half of opening kills for FaZe.
Throwing flash.
It'll be a flawless half and 6-0 as well on the scoreboard. They lose Dan, and then those Cyber falls. A 3 versus 3. A little flurry of action. So first time seeing Bathroom Towers for the entirety of this half. It is the most attacker-sided site on border. I think VP just throwing caution to the wind and
Looks like
essentially a Hail Mary to close the half.
Leno office now is clear courtesy of King. Need to be cautious though of this position from Rorik. Has the hatch for a quick drop if necessary. As FaZe will circle over towards office.
Clear.
Could there be a false sense of security here now for FaZe?
I like this from King. He's turned into a sled with frag grenades on the Solid Snake.
Rorik dropped down in the meantime, so all 3 on the 1st floor for the VP defense.
And the drop down. Nanko watching Bathroom to get the kill onto KDS. Slips back into Towers. He'll get some help from Pasha. Coming in from lobby. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind as well again.
Overpeak.
And then he peeks back into it. Well, playing with his life. Souls, to complete the flawless half, now must win the 1v2. One above, one inside of towers. He'll be aware of Nako's positioning. Not too aware, maybe. Far closer to the doorway with the Bailiff. Virtus.pro will get one. 5-1 half. And the halftime break comes through. 2 minutes to talk things over for both teams. But the sting of this match feels as if it's gone, and Lair is seemingly inevitable. Of course, no game is ever over. Game of 2 halves, but Virtus.pro are going to have a very tall order ahead of them.
Yeah, very switched on from the very start of the half. FaZe then going on to flawless their opposition. Back to back to back to kick things off. The tail of the tape didn't change all that much when the Wamai and the Deimos were further banned out. Maybe a world in which VP could have snatched this round as well. 2-4 at the halftime break would have been maybe a little more tantalizing, but certainly not the position we now find ourselves in. FaZe pretty good across the board. Found 6 entries back to back.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the last one here, not quite converted. Some good on-site play from Virtus.pro.
And don't forget, statistically, FaZe have the same win rate percentage on border on defense as their attack. It's pretty much identical, 60%. So it's not a case of, well, what's FaZe's defense going to be like? It's going to be quite dominant as well. And these are the tricky ones too for Virtus.pro. You're sitting in a 2-minute halftime break, probably knowing that gut feeling that Lair will be required, but you're never going to give up. 1 round at a time mentality can be done. It's difficult. It's going to take a lot of energy, but at the Esports World Cup, it's energy that's worth expending. And FaZe will know not to celebrate too early. Armory Archives, I would imagine, should be the opening site, and that will be the difficult one for Virtus.pro. It's all laid out for FaZe to get us to Lair. And the scheduled halftime break coming to an end, but the question will be now whether it's an extended halftime break like we've had a few times here at EWC. We can load in.
We wouldn't have too many issues. Can't imagine there was too much said in the FaZe camp heading into the second half.
Yeah, good job. Keep it up. Follow the pages that are in front of you. Flip them over.
It's all up to you.
It's all up to you. Good job. We'll talk outside in a couple
Maybe
of minutes.
they started talking about Lair. No, I don't think they would have gone quite that far. Double shield ban out from FaZe, Azami, and Wamai from VP. As you expected, second floor up first. Double shield ban could make things a little intriguing for VP in terms of how they fight for space. It means that it's going to be a large focus on gunfight and gunplay to get into the map. As we do load in.
FaZe will know more than anyone. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
They would.
Deploying jammer.
When you're 5-1 up here on border, you can play ultra aggressive run outs, jump outs. It's in the wheelhouse now. It's in the set plays if you want.
10 seconds to go.
Calibrating air compression. All set.
5 seconds to insertion.
So indeed, straight over to Armory and Archive, starting the second half of this second map. Don't make plans. It seems as if this series will go for at least another hour. A third map required to see who will make playoffs, qualify, who will drop down to the lower bracket, face an elimination game in a couple of days' time. But truthfully, I think both of these two teams coming into this event were expected to make top 8.
Yeah. Going for the grenade lineup, Virtus.pro.
Funnily, I think I saw the first time this happened, was it FaZe that actually did this? Or it might have been...
I thought it was Stompin that we
Yeah, I was going to say maybe
yeah.
it was G2. I think Stompin has definitely done it, but...
Wasn't expecting to say that name at this event.
Oh my god, he's got it!
It worked.
Honestly, that's 2 for 2 when I've seen that lineup done.
all but impossible for Souls to react in time. Pasha doubles down for Virtus.pro. Small signs of life here to kick off the second half.
I mean, this is a great start. This is the way to kind of just get maybe a little bit into the head of FaZe and say, yeah, it's not going to be that easy. You absolutely smashed this in the first half, but we'll show you what we've got. Nade line up, follow-up kill. Now 5 versus 3 in favor of the attack for Virtus.pro. Mako on the Blackbeard can pretty much now take space. Push closer towards Armory and Archives. Vidiking at Fountain, getting ripped down to half health. Clearly trying to contest against Virtus.pro. Not really getting a lot of help. KDS still by himself towards security. Andy just making sure that no one slips in towards Archives, and KDS at security dies to Dan outside on the west side balcony. Vidiking wins one towards Fountain. He's on the tracker though, the death mark on his head. Handy did catch one. Moved over towards Lockers. There's the Blackbeard though again. Nitrocell is available on Handy. Best player to contest against the Blackbeard. Frag grenade though, wonderful, onto his feet. Good headshot from Vidiking. Mako does still need to plant, pushing up main stairs. This swing could be round defining, but Pasha with the vendetta. Closes it out, a second round for VP. Back-to-back rounds, and it's 5-2.
Well, is there something more in this? Is there a twist to unfold? Long way to go, but it was a strong start there from VP. Can't fault them. The way in which they approached that round was clean. Great grenade lineup early. Nothing Souls could do. Detonates on his position.
Also got a couple new jammers too.
Yes.
An impact in the round to begin. Good follow-up.
The Deimos as well was very potent in that opening round. Now we saw that on the other side from FaZe in their first attacking half in the form of the Solid Snake. And so that's going to be an interesting thing to track if this does prolong. How do FaZe tame the info gathering from VP?
Yeah, and this is where now if you're FaZe, after what was such a dominant display in the first 5 rounds, you've now given up 2 straight. If you make it 3 straight, mentally then it's very easy to kind of go, uh-oh, what's happening here? How have we kind of lost control? Because we had a firm grasp on this map not too long ago.
Oh, firm would be an understatement. They started off with 3 flawless rounds. Might be the first time in the history of the game we've seen 3 back-to-back.
I'm just wondering, if Virtus.pro win this map, does Raffadel call a timeout? Does he just kind of go, oh, boys, settle down? Of course, we did see Dark call his tactical timeout after 2 rounds. Back-to-back flawless rounds, and actually after that timeout, a 3rd flawless round. Virtus.pro certainly going down fighting.
Are they going to go for a sandwich hit here, maybe? Patch up the coverage. Util pressure with the Candelas.
They're going just in for the plant.
Yeah.
Roaring is straight into the smoke. The glass to cover at the window, and this plan has just gone with no contest until the very end. It's too late. The Nitrocell from Vidiking is after the plant has already gone down. He maybe wants to even just think about getting straight on it, but with that smoke up and the glass watching from the window, Vidiking doesn't feel comfortable.
And Pasha and Dan can layer more.
Well, Handy's in this position to deny the plant. Oh, lovely swing though. Shotgun from Vidiking. Got rid of the glass, but Pasha connects. Counter defuse in progress from Cypher. He will not get denied, and FaZe will make it map point. Ooh. Oh, a fast-paced round on border. Virtus.pro storming through the front door, but FaZe able to answer back for map points.
Yeah, really nice there from FaZe in the post. A little unfortunate that the plant went down. Perhaps there was some sound coverage and it wasn't quite identified just in time. But positionally, and in terms of the synchronization there in the post, was absolutely spot on. VP put all their eggs in the basket of having that covered courtesy of the smokes and the glass. But Vidiking said, screw that, I'll swing with shotgun. I'm better. Wins the duel. And FaZe now 4 rounds up.
And just maybe that's the round needed to dispel this aggressive looking VP outfit, seeking a comeback of grand proportions, and now 4 straight rounds required. And Lair seemingly on the cards.
Pal is the site of choice here for the first match point or map point conversion effort for FaZe. And they'll bring the Valk into the comp here, so looking to gather as much information as they possibly can. Potentially in response to the info gathering from Virtus.pro, but interestingly, they go util heavy themselves here for this round.
I was going to say, if this goes 7-2, which 7-2 was better, but I think it's hard to look past 3 flawless rounds to start.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter.
No, well, it certainly doesn't.
There will be a little maybe recency bias in terms of the momentum that FaZe have gathered here, but I don't think it's going to be majorly impactful. When the video developed, I think both teams, if they were honest with themselves, expected this to play out exactly in this kind of fashion.
I would imagine. Information for Nako. And just sends it through lockers. The ping information though is enough to see the retreat. Top floor forwarded though to Virtus.pro, except for Sol, still lingering office. In towards site. We got what is that from Saber? He has hit some insane shots. Now the plan is still going down inside of Towers. Pasha inside of the smoke. Will be successful. Back-to-back plants now from Virtus.pro. Cyber down. Pasha 2 will fall from Handy. He goes double digits with the kill. Needs to leave workshop though, make his way towards the site. He's gone the wrong way. Vidiking towards 90, slips in towards security. Souls, funnily enough, dies to the frag grenade that Vidiking was avoiding.
And both players now situated outside for the post. This will be very, very tricky for FaZe to break.
FaZe have the extra number. VP have 2 outside. Vidiking will look to meet them outside. Handy, KDS, both towers. Vidiking gets nothing on the vault out, but Handy covers perfectly at the window again. Handy gets them both. He's the GOAT for a reason. Make it 7-2. Let's go to Lair. All 3 maps needed.
What a way for FaZe to close out the map. Great to watch them on border. They look so comfortable. Such a clinical result from them across the board.
That's kind of how
As
it works
the FaZe
sometimes.
clan, 5-1 record over the last 6 months. The only loss being Black Dragons. That was a month ago.
Yeah, that's big. That's very big. Context for here. Throw the BO3 out the window. Both teams on even playing field. It turns into a best of 1. A good old-fashioned brawl here on Lair as we need to decide who goes through to the playoffs and who will still need to compete in the lower bracket.
Well, the best thing about this particular boxing match, guys, is they both landed a big blow each. 7-2, 7-2. They both probably walk off stage thinking, yep, they got us on border, and yep, they got us on Fortress. Now Lair, being the decider, resets everything. The question, though, be, you brought it up, the momentum. For FaZe, they were the latest one to land a blow. So what's the mentality going to be like now for Virtus.pro? Can they switch their mindset from border, come into Lair, be refreshed? They have the courtesy of seeing that FaZe did it themselves. The evidence is in the pudding. You can do it. They can respond. Let's get underway. Virtus.pro will start defense, FaZe on the attack. Win, you go to playoffs. Lose, you're playing an elimination match in 2 days' time.
Yeah, it's a big one. Still think that FaZe will have what it takes to get the job done. But the fight here from VP expected to be strong. They'll start out on defense. The bans have played out. I.e. Bandit, so a double down there from FaZe in terms of hard breach denial. Just trying to open up the map that way. And VP taking away the Monty and the Grim. Does mean that the Deimos and the Solid Snake will be available. And that was really potent from FaZe, particularly back on border. They'll elect not to dip into that here for the opening round. It's more of a util heavy focus from them as opposed to info. But Lair is certainly the style of map where those operators can find footing. Upside early presence here from FaZe droning ahead. But the kind of team naturally that will split the attack in however they deem most appropriate. VP doubling down on the flip side with the Tachanka and the smoke. Double denial combination from them. And as we have seen a couple of times over the course of this tournament, that duo can make it very challenging for the attack to fight their way into site late round.
Breach charge set.
Well, one of the storylines that has actually been consistent across the opening 2 maps would be the entries won by FaZe. 9 rounds on Fortress, and they had a 6-3 split in their favor. 9 rounds on Border, and it was 8-1. You can do the math, but pretty clearly they have absolutely dominated the entry battles, which is what we were hoping they would improve on after the match against Fnatic, which was a weakness of theirs. Now Virtus.pro are the ones that need to flip that around. Second best team in EML for entry percentage.
Swapping mags! Changing mag.
Midpoint of the round. Second Salma deployed there by Vidiking, who surged on map 2 after a very, very quiet opener.
Rorik just setting into the frag grenade. Edius does have another one.
Will not be getting picked up.
No, drone hole, doorway covered. Edius instead wanted to just take the space with that second frag grenade. Entry into bathroom made. Another opening kill for FaZe. This has been the detriment for Virtus.pro across all 3 maps. That's the area that they need to find improvement, and improvement quickly. This top floor needs to also be won on the defense. FaZe looking to land the first blow on the 3rd map. Handy with a really, really long angle.
Yeah, can cut the long angle and maybe make a little bit of this plant denial a little more tricky to deploy, but will be vulnerable to Sky Bridge, and will turn his attention there now. 25 seconds. 8 shots in the Jamaica launcher. Pasha with the gas babe. This doesn't look great for FaZe.
Nice from Pasha. And he's been the best player in the series. Oh, Cyber, though, has a freebie. Never mind.
Oh, hello?
Well, he'll get Dan. And then he knows exactly where Nako is as well. Red time, 10 seconds left. And VP are fighting back on the site. KDS hasn't got the time to find the last 2 players. It's hide and seek, and VP will hide successfully. Needed to win the opening site here on Lair, and they do just that.
And it has to be a nice feeling to win a close round there to kick off their campaign of Lair. FaZe opting to try and go deep there late round with the smoke and the Chanka still up. And while the call was right, the execution fell just short of the mark. FaZe with the opener. Pasha fought back with shotgun and Cyber right here. How does he not get both kills?
10 seconds remaining.
Would have changed the complexion of the round. And KDS, his follow-up, certainly not enough to recover that effort. A small blemish on the record there of FaZe, but credit to Virtus.pro in still being able to close out the round.
Activating jammer. More connections never hurt.
Perfect start for Virtus.pro to successfully defend the top floor.
Think they won't try that?
10 seconds to insertion.
So to basement now for the second round.
5 seconds to go. Attackers are moving out to locate
Just
a bomb
have the
and
feeling.
defuse it.
It's a gut
If
one.
you don't have a plan,
Don't think this
there
one's
is
going to end
something
7-2.
I've been wanting to try.
Win or lose, Virtus.pro play most of the rounds on land regulation. Quick basement entry for Cyber on the solid state.
It hasn't taken long for that operator to re-enter the fray. Was incredibly popular and potent back on Border. So too the Deimos, both of which are available for FaZe as VP targeted the Monty and the Grim. Does force the pivot from Souls onto the Blackbeard. Quite an extensive roam established here from VP. Notably Pasha up above second floor on the Solace, who can be self-sufficient.
Up and running.
Clued on to the fact that FaZe are going very direct here. Straight down missile for Souls. FaZe don't really have anyone top floor. This is not top down at all. This is going to be aggressive, horizontal, into sight, take the gunfights, use Souls as the Blackbeard to enable the entry through the doorways. Utility still needs to be dealt with, such as these tripwire connectors.
This Maya is eating up so much utility that's intended to clear the tripwires. Never mind the deployable shield, which is on the other side.
What this also means is for Virtus.pro, with the fact that they'll have Vert as well. Neko, Pasha, both can just sit above. But FaZe will hope that maybe they can get into sight, win the battle without losing players to the Vert, and then have numbers in sight.
Yeah, we did finally clear that.
Ooh, yes, that was
shield.
a small little chance there onto Skies, but he wasn't ready for it. Skies will retreat. And it's sight, but that falls early to Pasha. Indeed, that Vert will have impact all the way from the top floor to the bottom. Pasha connects onto the Snake. Warwick will fall. He's had a difficult time in this series. First of a few Candelas to be thrown from Handy, and KDS follows up as well. Finally, this tripwire connector's been shut down. And they were able to get rid of the Azami as well. Full lab control. Oh my goodness, what a shot from Skies, but KDS immediately with the remonstration. 3 versus 2. With the time winding down.
What can Pasha do? First floor cut off by Vidaking.
He goes for the swing, and Vidaking was watching and waiting, and Neko now needs a clutch. A big one. Hit shot onto KDS. Oh! Souls turned around! Did the full Monty and gave him the chance to hit the headshot. 9 seconds. Vidaking clutches though. Oh, back and forth here in the second round. But it's FaZe that take it 1-1.
That's cold from Vidaking. Can you believe that he dropped the donut back on map 1? Could have dropped his head, but he fought back on border and he's alive here on Lair. Not the cleanest round ever formulated by FaZe, but it was good enough in the end. Some early issues with utility. An early whiff from Handy, but a good cutoff from Vidaking.
Look at this. Whoop.
Oh. And then Vidaking comes to save the day.
Who dropped 0 kills on the first map, 9 deaths, has been so good. Maybe even MVP level since that first map.
You get a drop map in a best of 3 and you can put a line through the first. Since then, he has been absolutely phenomenal.
Back on board of Vidaking, 12 and 5. I mean, to be fair, Handy's probably got him edged out overall, which he does. 17 and 12 across the series for Handy. Neko 18 and 12.
5 seconds to go.
Vidaking is now up to a 96 EPS, and for those that weren't here after the first map, he was sitting on 25 or 26?
25.
25?
He didn't have a single
His cost
number.
has gone from 0 to 45. What a return to form for him so quickly.
Yep. So a Storms then for round 3. Not the most extensive hold above ever seen from VP, but have established the default vert. And do have some players, or the large portion of the defense scattered above on that second floor. But not a massive overcommit. The Warden and the Solace, of course, will be critical on this site for identifying where the plant goes down from FaZe if they are eventually to fight themselves into the objective. And with the Capital being play from FaZe, it's likely they'll take green side control and then use that against the vert.
Nothing to worry about near me. I'm reloading.
Has been involved in so many entry battles in this series. Was the opening down from the previous round, now taken low. Wanted to try and get as much information from Ops as possible. Pretty much FaZe, though, are wanting to take this flight on the second floor. Just how Renego's not going to connect.
And that's now 2 used by VP.
Yeah, 1 left. Oh, just stands at the window and Vidaking says, thank you very much. Asleep at the wheel for Neko. Pasha trying to take a tight angle fight.
Metal frozen.
Another opening kill for FaZe. That's been the dominant area of the series. And of course, with Skies playing bunks, it's technically, if FaZe want it to be, it could be 5-3 on the top floor. They do have Handy towards security, so it won't be the full 5.
Yeah, Rorik's been able to back out as well. FaZe in closing on the objective. 40 seconds, pressure mounting both above and below. Where do VP go from here? They forfeit. They give the control to FaZe.
Oh, Handy, that would have been a bit of a bad timing with the wall being opened up. Pasha's made his way back down to the first floor. So is Rorik. They're completely giving up top floor. They want to contest the plant. 20 seconds remain in the round. FaZe have seen... Oh, hang on. Freebie on the Skies. Vidiking through the opened up wall. And he's got Kit. But a headshot from Rorik. And not traded. As we enter into the final 8 seconds, the Solus from Dan needs to try and find this Kit. Souls will connect. Plant to floor. And with the kill onto Rorik, VP falling apart in this third round. But they do get souls. And a 2 versus 2 is possible with Cyber so low on health. But he is also playing top floor.
Yeah.
And catches out Pasha. Dan needs them both. The Blackbeard. Oh, he finds the tap angle on the top of his head. But now needs to play this dance around the Kit.
Grenade.
Cyber. He's going to let him try and think. He's going to stick it. He's completely going to stick it. I cannot believe what's just happened.
Oh, no.
Cyber has given him the round.
I'm speechless.
I'm not going to lie. I wasn't expecting it.
Neither was I.
What just happened?
Oh.
Hello?
Cyber. You don't see that often from Cyber.
I'm speechless.
Look, fair play. If he goes for the shot and gets tapped, you take it on the chin. But to play it like that and to fail is unbelievable.
What about the shot on the Blackbeard, though? Can we rewind it back a little second? I'm hoping we'll get the replay.
I know. What was that?
Maybe the Blackbeard had a toupee and he's just shot that.
He got a faulty shield. FaZe did so much right positionally. They did a really good job in having that top floor control, meant that even though Dan knew where the plant went down, they couldn't contest it. They couldn't deny it horizontally either, given they were box green side. It didn't have the util. But then all went out the window there in the post. And Virtus.pro get a sneaky round to take the lead.
I mean, well played, to be honest. Punk's briefing can be a very difficult sidecast to retake, and they did. I thought they actually played it quite well. Whenever the contest is on that top floor and you're thinking about... Well, you most often see the direct plant. Punk's briefing don't fully contest top floor. FaZe went for it. And largely, FaZe won that battle. They forced VP back to side. They got plant down. They then had one up above. Everything in that script as it's laid out is what you want as the attacking team. And yet VP walk away from the round as the winners.
Someone around here shows me some respect.
All right, 2-1. Well, we've gone blow for blow in terms of the maps. Maybe now here on Lair, we can go blow for blow in the rounds.
Yeah, let's
also,
see.
Where's the replays? I wanted to see. I wanted to see the shot back, and also the nade.
Let's see how FaZe able to formulate a response then.
Oh, well, didn't shoot.
Vidiking got gifted a couple of kills in the last round with some poor positioning courtesy of VP and almost gets one here in the fourth. Pasha needs to be careful. We'll lose this battle if he swings. Does he elect to invest these gas babes early to deter the push from Vidiking? Andy on the opposing side taking space as well here for FaZe. As Dan goes for an early tuck position, main breach.
By the way, there has not been a single opening kill converted in the first 3 rounds. Been a very scrappy start to Lair. Andy as well, 0-3 start. It's not common to see him start so slowly. Done spot one through the drone hole, and another.
A lot of info here from
a good
Vidiking.
amount of information.
Can follow that up with radar late on entry if needed. Elsewhere, ops control, Cyber with that diffuser. will be eager to refocus after the failed 1v1 in the previous round, where he let the opportunity slip post-plant up above. Again from VP though, it is the smoke and the Tachanka combo to try and stall out time. All gas babes at this point though have been expended.
Yeah, stall the timeout, then you've got the nitro cells as well to potentially stop the mask plant, but Warwick is towards bathroom and Dan just threw his. That actually kind of leaves now the Shamika launcher as the main objective in stopping that plant towards mask. Warwick, you've got to be careful the way you're playing bathroom.
Well, he's lost this fight
worried
before.
for him.
He's lost this fight before with the overpeak. Needs to learn that lesson.
Oh my goodness. He just goes for the nitro cell and then goes for the peak. He just doesn't look comfortable in this position. Trying to get a good timing on the swing with a shotgun, but he's so low. Now, I mean, to be fair, he's eaten up a lot of time, but now he's dead. So they find that first pick. They get bathroom opened up. FaZe have also started to get mezzanine control through Cyber. There goes Dan. Handy finds his first kill of the map, but we are low on time. 2 bullets left in the Shamika launcher. Headshot from Vidaking onto Skies. It may even be close to flawless. Pasha's the only one left. He got one, but that's it. Back and forth we go on Lair. It's 2-2.
Yeah, intentional or not, FaZe have done a great job there to pose questions of Yorick on that anchor position. With the shotgun up close on the Warden, didn't look particularly comfortable and died in a somewhat similar fashion to what we have seen previously already on this map. And it was the cascade effect. That piece falls right here. The rest of the defense scrambles as FaZe push forward on the back foot for the entirety of that round as FaZe equalize the scoreline.
Here we go, basement now for this 5th round. Neither team able to win consecutive rounds so far on Lair. But still, what we saw back on Fortress and Border is again happening on Lair. FaZe are dominating the early entry battles. 3-1 split in their favor here, and across the series now, it's ginormous. So, for example, love a good reference here in terms of the entry battles. Rorik is 1-8 on entry. Skies is 0-6 on entry. Dan 1-1, Nako 1-1, Pasha 2-1, and well, it's just full green for FaZe. 6-2 to Cyber, 4-1 to Handy, 3-0 to Vidaking, so on, so on. It's been very one-sided in the early battles. It means for the most part, Virtus.pro are more often than not in a 4 versus 5 in these rounds. But despite that, this series is still tied.
Yeah, as this back and forth continues to develop, the tension rises inside of the server. Rorik 1-4. Pressure mounting on his ability to stay alive in the early round and fight back against this early pressure from FaZe.
Well, last time out, they went direct. I don't think FaZe surely will go for that again. And especially considering this time Virtus.pro are playing 5-side on live basement. So, to be fair, actually, because they are playing 5-side, there probably will be a decent amount of horizontal pressure from FaZe, but I wouldn't mind seeing them still try to play some of that first floor vert, but they don't really have the lineup for it either.
Yeah, last time we saw that Pasha solo round on the solos. Very different outfit this time.
May just be heads up. Down in basement, 5v5.
Well, you can see all the blue outlines. It's pretty 1D for FaZe.
Again, the warehouse is the focus.
There we go.
This battle. Nice to see for him. And the second on the follow-up onto Souls. As Pasha gets rid of KDS, we will continue to go back and forth here on Lair. Vidaking, though, keeps this round alive. And then Handy with the shotgun through stock. There is no script for this match. It's so unpredictable. 2 versus 2.
Dan
just in a round when you thought VP were good, and indeed they will be because of Dan. Oh, it got a little bit spicy at the end of that round. Rorik so strong to start with. Just his second opening kill of the entire series. Then the follow-up. But Handy then kept the round alive. 2-3, final round of the half.
Yeah, heading into this third map, I think there was a discussion to be had in terms of how many big moments will there be on this third and final map for individuals to step up and make their mark on the series. And I think we have seen a large volume of that already across the first 5 rounds. Shout out to Rorik, did his job nicely over towards Warehouse with questions posed in the early round over the course of the half. He stood up. And then Dan, late at the death, got caught in an awkward position, was in a pinch. I was actually having a look across at the overhead, and if Vidiking had have taken a step forward just a fraction sooner, a couple seconds sooner, Dan was unaware. He was looking the wrong way, but he catches a good timing in the end, converts his opportunity. And now could FaZe respond and equalize the half.
Oh, it's just turning into something special. Feels as if it's brewing here on Lair. 3-2. Forget about attacker side, forget about defender side. This is straight up Lair. 2 teams equally measured. And clearly we've seen neither able to gain a significant advantage. VP have won rounds 1, 3, and 5. FaZe Clan 2, 4, and will it be 6? We'll see. Final round of this half. Bunk's briefing, we go again. Last time FaZe were unable to win the round due to the Dan clutch, so make it out of the last 3 rounds, 2 big plays from Dan.
Currently the top-rated player for VP. And equal 3rd overall for the series, server-wide.
Near me.
Tracks out.
Although I did check the statistics of Lair and well, for the EML region. Top floor defender-sided, Vlad Bunk's briefing attacker-sided. So pretty much as you typically will see it. Similar as well in SAL.
FaZe doubling down with the Sense and Capital for the slight hit late. So may go for the tuck plant position with a little bit more coverage. And so again, is going to put a large weight of pressure on both Dan and Nako on the Solace and the Warden respectively to counteract that.
Swapping mags.
Exterior breach opened up so KDS could chill. Long angle DMR and nets the kill. It's a small misstep, a small mistake from Skies, but it proves costly.
And costly because it's also the anchor towards site, the first floor defender. And then Nako sprayed down through the doorway from Handy. Looking quite tidy for FaZe to close this half. Pasha and Dan, have they got a clutch in them? Vidiking's going for the plant, by the way, and the attention's still drawn on this top floor. This may be flawless to close the half from FaZe. Feels fitting that we will be all tied up to close this half, and it's flawless from FaZe. 3-3. No separating these 2 teams.
There isn't. There really isn't. FaZe put the foot down there. Final round of the half.
Dominant.
It was.
The most dominant round we've seen, I think, here on Lair. That's the only thing if you're Virtus.pro going into this halftime break. While it has been back and forth, neither able to string together 2 straight rounds, that round was very clinical from FaZe. Let's go and have a look at the highlights as we've got another minute and a half to allow the players to talk things over in the halftime break.
Yeah, plenty of highlights over the course of the first half of big moments. Vidiking set the tone early with this massive clutch. And the chaos didn't subside. Round 3, equally exciting. Very close post-plant that Dan was able to clutch up. Had word as well from Easy, our observer, that the grenade there actually getting caught by a mag late in the piece from Cyber. Could have been a difference maker. Either way, though, a fierce tug of war between these 2 teams. And so far, living up to the expectation.
Reloaded.
Well, it's been a fun series. You know, you think about the very best series, usually a, full regulation rounds on map 1, 2, then into an OT on map 3. And well, we didn't get that, 7-2, 7-2. What we got was a good display from both teams on their respective maps. Good dominance from VP on Fortress. Good dominance from FaZe on Border. And now on Lair, all equal. 3-3. 20 seconds to go on this scheduled time out. No timeouts have actually been called in that first half, of course, so both Dark and Rafidel will have available tacks.
Hasn't really been required, right? When it's been 1-1 to 1 to 1 to 1, there's been no true momentum built. Let's see how the bands shape up for the second half, noting that back in the first it was the Bandit Kai, then into Azami, and the Grim Monty into the Glaz. And so we may see a similar repeat here in the second half, pending what each team elects to go for now. And indeed it will be. So that may set the stage for a very similar second half in the back and forth. And in terms of the playstyle and what's going to be enabled or disallowed is going to be very similar. Expecting VP, if they want to play the modern meta, to lean heavily in to the info gathering operators that will remain up. And then defensively, we could see a lean into traps from FaZe.
Well, let's get underway. Round 7, second half. Map 3. With this playoff qualification match at the Esports World Cup. Top 8 on the line. One of these two will be playoff bound. The other, well, their fate will be determined in 2 days' time. That's a lot of time to be sitting around waiting to figure out what your future looks like.
It would also be a lot of time sitting around waiting if you want to qualify, but I'd rather be in that position. Sit back and watch everybody else.
Perimeter defense active. Peace will protect us.
Of course, Dark Zero and Wildcard having already qualified for playoffs.
Watch your 6.
I'm not too sure what's the match on the B stream looking like, considering we're just coming out of the half break.
That's right, we do have Rob, our personal assistant, at the end of the desk, so we'll get him to bring up the scores for everyone at home.
I've got hands, and I'm going to use them
Okay,
for once.
For once.
So spoiler, 3, 2, 1. GK winning the first map against Fura 7-4. They now also lead 4-0 on the second map. They are 3 rounds away from sending Furia to the lower bracket and qualifying for playoffs.
Oh, that sounds exciting. But I'll be honest, not as exciting as this third map between FaZe and VP.
That's why we give the update, so that you just still watch this one as it's developed really nicely. FaZe go defense. Master and R6 is the side that is the most defender-sided on this map.
Bit of a tricky mirror setup here upside, but dealt with by Dan with the Lance on the Kalu. Initially disrupted a little bit by the catch. Here's the follow-up. The blitz in play. Time management critical for VP this round. You look at the lineup there from FaZe. You have the smoke and the Trenker combo, and then don't discount the double nitro plus the Razor Blooms from KDS.
Well, I still haven't got any of the reinforced walls near Mask opened up. They do have ops control, but they also don't have Mez control halfway through this round. Mako a little bit stalled out trying to push over towards main stairs. That's also being gas-paved by Handy. He has 2 more remaining. Warwick over towards security to get some information with the death mark.
Swapping mags.
Finds himself on the wrong side of things early on. Carly of Dan still towards Ops. They have still not opened up this wall. It's being peppered by the Shamika launcher. Up fast though from main stairs is Nako. Lovely pistol shot onto Handy. That's controlled towards Mezzanine, established for Virtus.pro. This is what you need on the attack.
And Souls tried to find the trade, but forced into the retreat. Nitro also used, and so it means that Vidaking needs to be perfect with his utility usage for the remainder of this round. Still 13 shots remain in the Shamika launcher. Needs to place those perfectly for the remainder of the round. Let's see if VP shape up for a default or if they commit to a flood.
Oh, lovely swing from Souls playing behind the mirror window. Nako low, so is Warwick. Still towards Medical, so it's only the 3 up towards the mezzanine, and they've just lost Skies. He was full health. Good shot from Cyber. Still has the Nitrocell needed. Time expiring for Virtus.pro. They need Warwick to come and join them. He's making his way up main stairs. Nako can't even get in towards Mars. Pasha by himself. FaZe will take this top floor as expected on the defense. Job done. It is back-to-back rounds, but that's the site on defense that you really should be winning. The next 2 rounds are pivotal, though, for Virtus.pro. You're afforded to lose that one. That's fine. The next 2, though, you need to be contesting far better.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a poor start to the round there for the VP attack. Nako able to find entry on the blitz on screen now, and critically was able to deter the trade attempt from Souls. But Souls himself then was able to escape, had impact late round, and the util layering from Vidiking, which had to be perfect. Had to be, especially given that the smoke was down and he didn't have a ton of utility left. Had to make sure that it was placed correctly for efficiency. He did that. Forced the stall out, made default impossible for Virtus.pro. And then the rest of the cleanup elsewhere and their avoidance as well of the Deimos was absolutely spot on. So good work from FaZe.
And how quickly you can go from back and forth to now being able to say FaZe have won 3 of the last 4 rounds. Basement we go for round 8. FaZe edging closer to playoffs. Virtus.pro are not going to bow out that easily. Auric on the glass with Nako on the blitz. Back-to-back blitz play for Virtus.pro. But there is actually quite a lot of counter to this blitz being brought to the round. The smoke, the Yokais of the Echo, even the Shamika launch of 2 of Souls. Even barriers can block doorways. This is going to be tricky for Nako. He's going to have to be perfect on the blitz to have an impact.
Breaching here.
Yeah, bit of an initial stack. Warehouse side, opportunity presented. That was KDS, an overswing in that warehouse position, but not punished.
Well, there is a Yokai warehouse, so if KDS does opt to stick around and VP push in, it could go for a burst swing play with KDS between him and Vidiking. That's probably why he's more than happy to just stick around here and take the fight. Ping. Oh, by the way, this is going to be the burst and the swing combo. KDS doesn't quite get the angle. He's covered at the reinforced wall that has been opened up. The Yokai hasn't quite been the trump card, and in fact, that's going to be a mini loss for FaZe, because they also lost Handy.
Well, they can get brought up now, courtesy of Cyber finding that kill.
That's true. By getting that kill, Pasha dies. Now they can get this revival into Handy. Big power swing back now for FaZe in their favor after a mini win for VP.
FaZe being able to stabilize the round. Who can step up to the plate now for VP? They have a foothold warehouse triple. And then Skies, the solo, elsewhere. Can make a play from the exterior. Will they be into that Tachanka? And with util still up, easier said than done.
Sol sitting all the way back over towards support. The only one that's relatively close maybe would be Skies. But he's also just getting flamed out anyway from the other room. It's making it difficult for Skies to establish this pinch pressure with VP. Nako downed. And they're finished off by the Flames, but Skies made that entry. He found 2 critical kills with the Vendetta. Dan has already clutched up once in this map for Virtus.pro. But this time he's got Skies for company. Deathmark onto Vidiking. Soul still with bullets in the Shamika launcher, but it's gun up time. The dashing Dan won't work out, and gun up indeed for Souls as FaZe make it 3 straight rounds.
Really well played there in response to the late Deathmark. Repositioned, then allowed Souls to play that cross. And despite the mid-round heroics there from Skies, who had to make a play, initially stalled out by the Chank util, but then found the multi. The ability for FaZe to recompose and reposition and still close out the round. Very impressive. And now there is that 2-round buffer.
I honestly thought I might have expected a timeout from Dark. At 5-3, couple of rounds in a row now for FaZe.
Bomb located by attackers.
Because the thing is now, if you lose Bunk's briefing, you're 6-3 down and calling attack timeout, needing 3 straight yourself against FaZe, then going into top floor. Has Dark maybe missed the timing window? But what really, to me, feels like a critical round. If you lose this, FaZe get 3 match point opportunities and go to then the most defended sided site on the map.
Changing mags.
The lineup here defensively from FaZe looking standard for this site with the Solace Warden combination. Equally from VP though, leaning into the cap tower, electing not to go the sense route.
Yeah.
But they do double down with info. And so maybe looking to contain some of the mid-round aggro here from
I
FaZe.
think what you're starting to see teams do is adapt by understanding the sends route is great, don't get me wrong, but it's predictable. If everyone starts doing it, then it's a very easy read and how to counter it. So what you're seeing is now teams are a little bit more opting to put pressure top floor, force them down, and then go for the push.
We have seen even some of the North American teams leaning into the Thatcher counter on the side of the attack to shut down the Solace and the Warden, but we don't see that here from VP. Instead, Lurk. Lurk heavy. Both reception and main stairs occupied by the Deimos Snake combination. And the clearance spearheaded top floor elsewhere, courtesy of the Blackbeard. And so a decent semblance of control now for VP, but it hasn't been contested by FaZe. They're eager to sit back and wait.
Yeah, they don't really care about mezzanine control. This is not Master and R6, so you don't really care if they got Mez. And he has caught at the window. You can see the frustration in his camera. They lose Nako, so 1 for 1. Yeah, the Solace for the Blackbeard is actually a pretty even exchange, all things considered. Solace is quite impactful on this site and does actually maybe open the door. If VP want, do you go potentially straight to side? Solace has actually made his way back up. There is no one in sight right now for FaZe.
Yeah, they got full pings up above, courtesy of the Solid Snake.
No one in sight and no Solace available. Pasha makes his way into display to join the rest of the troops. They want to contest on this top floor. They want to take the fight against FaZe Clan. And Cyber says, bring it on. Headshot, Pasha, that's dead. That's Case on the ground. They're not close. Oh, they just go for the double swinger. FaZe have got it covered. Dan needs a 4K clutch to salvage this round. It seems so incredibly unlikely. At the end of the hallway is your demise from quite literally 0 to hero for Vitaking. 3 match and series points for FaZe. Surely now you have to call a timeout.
I think it was, but it could be too little too late. Interesting there from VP, they elected not to leave a lurker up above and then maybe think about pressure site. They tried to go for the full commit, the full clear. Maybe lulled into a false sense of security. They had 3 pings just prior to the push on the Solid Snake, but it wasn't enough to be able to break those crosses. And once FaZe found the first, we saw them just immediately push forward and completely decimate the VP attack.
Watching that clock tick down to see, yeah, there it is. There's the pause. VP timeout from Dark. FaZe have now rattled off 4 consecutive rounds and have 3 opportunities to book their place into playoffs. And that's so daunting for the rest of the competition, guys. They're looking pretty on here at the Esports World Cup. And when FaZe are on, they're so difficult to beat.
Probably the kind of team that if they are afforded a few days break, they'll be behind the scenes plotting away at their route forward to claiming the trophy.
Well, again, we saw the contest on that second floor up above. Once the Solace dies, though, 4 stack up. So now, of course, there is still Vert. The Solace isn't everything. But there was enough time to maybe fall back, reconsider. Do we want to go green side pressure? Try and maybe bring some of those defenders across into bad positions. But instead, VP kind of just kept going. They didn't change up the plan. And then we saw the double swing at the doorway, and surely that can't be your best thought of, yeah, that's how we're going to win this round. I just wonder if there's a breakdown there for VP attacking into Lair on some of these sites. They've really struggled. 3 straight defensive rounds. We know Lair can be more favorable to the defense.
They just didn't quite kick into that kind of autopilot mode that you would see maybe from a FaZe in that instance, right?
5 seconds left.
The path back now into a potential OT. It looks very tumultuous for Virtus.pro.
Well, I got a fun fact question for you. Who's top fragging the series?
It would be really funny if it was King. Surely not.
It is.
Is it? No. Is it actually?
It is. But he's tied with Handy and Cyber. They've all got 23 kills. Add in KDS with 21 and then Souls with 19.
There's just no weak link.
There is no weak link. But most importantly, that's King with 23 kills from 2 maps.
And if you're just tuning in, what was it on map 1 again?
0 and 9.
So it was
everyone, by the way, because
it was 0 and 9. He didn't have a plant. He didn't do anything.
25 EPS as Rorik gets the opening kill onto Handy. That's a good start for Virtus.pro out of the timeout, but Souls with a quick response against Skies. This one's starting a little bit quicker than expected as well. On Master and R6, the pace is quite high from Virtus.pro. Maybe just wanting to catch some time is against FaZe. We know Dan loves his Kali, most played attacker operator in stage 1 of EML. And it's a good operator for this particular site.
Yeah, it's going into the mirror. Bit of util clearance potential as well onto the Azami. And there are some nice long lines of sight as well that he can hold down.
But they don't have anything towards Ops. That's allowed Souls to play this more aggressive mezzanine position rather than further back. So he's got essentially Ops control. But Nako perfect on the Blackbeard to retake this position for Virtus.pro. Souls can only do so much. Mirror is broken, the shield up. Couple of bodies pushing his way, so he gets a little help from King with the Shamika launcher. They're expending their utility early.
Yeah, the more he invests early, the less there is for the default late, which was the big win condition for FaZe last time out.
I guess they're just trying to make it more difficult for VP to be in said good position to go for a win late. It also means less fumbling with utility towards the end of the round, and they can.
Virtus.pro might go for the back hit here, go R6 side.
Yeah, bathroom side.
Good grenade.
KDS gets caught at the window again. Pasha, big kill, and with that bathroom and mezzanine control and still 40 seconds on the clock, VP's a good chance until Dan overcooks it. Good head drop from Souls. And they're a little split now on the attack as well. Pasha's gone for a massive north side wrap. He's not close to Rorik or Nako. Nako at the doorway. Rorik coming out of server. Caught by Cyber. Prone player Cyber to step up, but then shut down by the Blackbeard. 20 seconds, 2 versus 2. FaZe on the verge of getting into playoffs.
Do they know of Pasha's position? King has a read.
He made the wrap rotate. King has the read, as you said, but Pasha's got the battle won. Down to Souls. Time, though, is low. Nako needs to go for the plant. The cover needs to be from Pasha, and he does have it covered. 4 straight for FaZe, but VP are not done with yet. 6-4, 2 more needed, though, from Virtus.pro.
They were this close. A matter of inches there in that final fight, but good plant coverage and a good wrap ultimately in the end then
2v3
from
as
VP.
Well. A couple of big fights won from Pasha and Nako. Especially Pasha. And you noticed it as well, that rotate balcony north side.
Took the initiative,
but it also did then leave Nako and Warwick to their own devices. Warwick caught pushing into server. That then leaves Nako and Pasha split. They needed to meet back up. They both needed to win their ones, and they did. And interestingly, FaZe lose out on the most defender-sided site, not opting to repeat Master R6. They go basement. This opens up a potential comeback now for Virtus.pro. Win this, and things get very interesting.
Absolutely. Data basement, we return. Played once so far in the half. It was a success for FaZe. Did a great job installing out the initial push warehouse. And whilst there was a late pinch attempt from Skies in that round on the Deimos, it was a case of too little too late and a little bit of a filter effect in the way that VP attacked that site in the end, the choke points late round proved to be too difficult to break down.
By the way, I just had a look. Nako has played only 2 rounds this entire series on attack that hasn't been on a shield.
Yep.
He has been sticking to this Blackbeard. Made it work in that round. Those 2 rounds, by the way, that he didn't play shield, they actually lost both of them. Make of that what you will.
They should have just gone for the triple ban.
Cover me. Reloading.
Opted though to go for the Grim in the first phase. Very much a top-down approach from VP in this round, signaled by, well, Dan's obvious position at the moment, but in the lead-up, the Sledge and the Ram double down in terms of Vert operators. We'll see then if that can alleviate some of the pressure late round in some of those choke points that proved costly last time. But either way, it's a stark contrast to the warehouse side hit that we saw last time from VP.
Yeah, more focus, of course, with the Ram and the Sledge. Neither of these two really wanted to play the Vert on their attacks until now. And best time for it, considering FaZe are 5-stacking down in basement. So you've got all this time with the Sledgehammer, with the Boogie Auto Bridges, which all 3 have now been utilized. This will give us a very different play out of basement than we've seen in any of the rounds so far on this map. Every single time, it's essentially 5v5 in basement and just pushing forward at each other. But honestly, it's this blue stairs battle which can be make or break for the attack. It needs to be clean. Warwick, don't shoot your teammate in the head. It can happen in this position. Seen it many a times. He doesn't. Shoots the opposition. Sniper falls at blue stairs. That's the pathway that's been established. 50 seconds left.
Yeah, it could be a filter finish in the end here from VP. But with both Vidiking and Souls up on the Echo and the Tachanka, a plant may not be straightforward.
Skies gets caught out in the open, flash onto Souls' position. He'll duck back behind the shield. Warwick to take some space. But caught on the long angle from Handy. Ridiculous length with that shot. And Virtus.pro must surely now be feeling very nervous that this one's getting away from them. Where's Dan? He's usually the man for these situations, but it's Pasha that finds the first shot. The Tachanka dealt with, and now into red time. It's a 3 versus 3. Flood into the site, but that Yokai is still up. Will it find Nako's position? If it does, FaZe will win, but watching it, Nako got off. Now needs to stick. Dan's got the cover. That's 1 down. The plant will be successful. Nako shield up. No, it's gone up, but then it's KDS. The pistol shot connects. There will be no heroics for Virtus.pro because the back-to-back SI champions are playoff bound.
Yes, they are. FaZe get the job done.